So here we are, and we, as promised in the video that you've just watched, we're going to tell you about some myths and things that we found on our South African trip. And one of the myths that we encountered was everyone was telling us, oh, don't you start driving across the Transkei, you know, you'll get murdered and this happens and that happens. And the usual one, they had a friend of a friend that it happened to. And
it was quite frightening, actually, because when we started off, we did see these car wrecks by the side of the road, and you didn't seem to mind, but I was quite scared. And
yeah, well, it was... You know, at the end of the day, it became quite evident why these cars were there. And that was, you know, there was no tow trucks or people that could repair the cars. So if your car broke down, all you could do was leave it. So that was one myth that was...
the other one, which was absolutely classic, you have to say, about the security post when we went through.
Yeah. Yeah, that was unbelievable. Where everyone, when we actually entered the Transkei, it was like the bridge over the River Kwai, and there's this big modern building, and this guy came out with all scrambled egg over his hat and stripes and bits and pieces and a big gun on his side, and he said, "Oh, you better come in and sign yourself in." And we went in, and he was going, how long are you going to be? We said, well, we're just driving through. I suppose we'll be going for take a day. He said, oh, we better give you 2 or 3 days. Just in case.
It's all very formal, wasn't it?
Yeah, just in case anything goes wrong. So we think, oh God, perhaps these stories were true. Anyway, we started driving along, and
it was so funny because we had a wonderful trip across, but when we got to the other side...
But he'd made a point, hadn't he? He said he made a point of saying, make sure you sign out when you get to the other side. So we're looking at the map and, you know, so, well, we should be pretty close now. And then by the time that we'd, you know, really established that we were actually back in South Africa, and there was a little hut with a guy asleep in here on the side of the road, and that was the way out. So if you were coming the other way, you could have just come in and out as you wanted to. So this big charade at the other end was, you know, unbelievable. But it just shows you about, you know, truth versus appearance, and how many times that you do get, you know, situations like that.
And even recently, even, you know, a few weeks ago, we drove back to our farm, and what happened when we pulled into the driveway?
Oh, yeah. Well, this is very similar to the story of the guy on the train, because I looked down the bottom of we went in the gate, and right down the bottom of the thing there was a load of people round the car, and I thought, I got really wild, drove straight down there and started shouting and hollering at them about, you know, what they doing, trespassing and all this, that and the other. And it turned out that they had taken the wrong turn, and they were trying to get into the strawberry farm next door, and they were bogged down. So my anger turned straight away. Oh, so I'm sorry, I didn't realise they'd made a genuine mistake. But it just shows you how you can go through life seeing the wrong thing out of a situation and get yourself all knotted. And when you know the truth, it's you know, you can sort things out. So
that was a classic one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Classic one.
Really was. It was an exact same situation where I've gone from anger to trying to help people in a split second. As soon as you knew the truth, you could change. So, you know, make sure you check things out a little bit before you start, you know, assuming that that the appearance is exactly what the situation is.
Yeah, I think that's a good lesson. A good lesson to learn from this one.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
And you know, I still lose it occasionally, which I shouldn't.
But he was knee-deep in mud by an hour later, still helping these people get out their car, get out of the farm. So it was all good.
So I made my penance anyway.
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, thanks very much, and we'll see you again, and try and think up some other bits and pieces that might help. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Bye-bye.